From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
And good afternoon. Thanks for joining us on the Noon News. I'm Andrea Lutz. At least 2 people are dead and many more hurt after 2 days of massive and devastating storms. Hail and heavy winds knocked out power for thousands. Omar Villafranca reports on a harrowing scene in Texas.
We just saw people screaming, like, get out.
Juanita Govia and her family saw this scene while driving on I-35 in Ellis County, Texas. Witnesses, including her uncle and dad, rushed to help before the fire department arrived.
I've never seen nothing like this, but it's hard to see. But somebody needed to do something.
They were screaming and they were saying the fire department is about to come, but that was like 30 minutes before the fire department came.
Witnesses described the effort to rescue at least 1 passenger after a tornado swept across the highway, blowing at least 2 semi-trucks on their sides. Emergency crews worked overnight to clear the roadway and help people in homes in the area that sustained damage from these twisters in Texas.
Holy cow.
South Carolina was hit with hailstorms, and Georgia was left with this trail of debris. Just west of Atlanta, a community is mourning one man who was killed when power lines crashed onto his vehicle.
Omar Villafranca, CBS News, Waxahachie, Texas.
And this afternoon, investigators remain on scene of a deadly train crash that killed 15 people and injured 70 others. This happened when an overpass carrying Mexico City Metro train cars partially collapsed onto the road. The overpass of Metro's 12 line collapsed on top of cars that were below. Emergency medical crews and firefighters combed through the wreckage looking for survivors. A car also became trapped under that rubble. All right, we are making our way through the week, and we're always looking forward to what that weather's going to do. Miller.
Well, I hope you brought your umbrella today. Oh, naughty, naughty. Well, hey, you know what? You still have an opportunity to get an umbrella for tomorrow because we're going to hold on to a chance of rain the next couple of days, especially the farther east you go into the state. We do have this area of low pressure that's sliding across, and there's the result. We do see scattered showers all around Montana into northern Wyoming. We also see down there in the Bighorns, we do have a little bit of snow down there at the Beartooth as well. Temperatures out there right now mainly in the 50s. Try to get into the 60s today. We'll go 50s, 60s maybe tomorrow as well. We do have a warm up on the way as we get later into the work week. But do we have a nice weekend on the way? Not looking too good right now. We'll take a look coming up. Andrea.
All right, Miller, thanks so much. The COVID-19 pandemic is showing no signs of slowing across the globe. The World Health Organization says the number of new cases in the last 2 weeks was higher than the total infections in the first 6 months. India remains the hotspot with more than 300,000 new daily cases. They have the second highest number of confirmed cases with nearly 20 million. The United States remains the highest with 32 million. The FDA is expected to approve the Pfizer vaccine for 12 to 15-year-olds. That's if the CDC agrees with the recommendation. Shots could start within a matter of days. A March study found kids experience side effects similar to young adults. The FDA already, though, allowed both companies to begin studies in children 11 and younger. 1 year after the pandemic delivered a major blow to Billings businesses, a local developer says the world of retail is back in a big way. He says some of the area's largest developments actually had record sales this past year. But that being said, he also admits for others it was a survival of the fittest. MTN's Jay Cohn has the story.
Billings retail developer Steve Corning says nothing compares to April, May, and June of last year, a stretch he refers to as the hardest 3 months of his 40-year career.
It was a crisis, a retail crisis of unmitigated proportions. I mean, I had over the course of my career seen 1 or 2 bankruptcies filed, and you'd lose 30 or 35,000 square feet, which is certainly a large amount of square footage, and it gets your attention. But I had never seen such an across-the-board wholesale slaughter.
By late summer and early fall of 2020, Corning says most retail activity was well on its way back.
Some people had the best years they ever had last year. Certainly it was the food retailers, the grocery retailers, the general merchandise retailers like Target and Walmart, and then other essential retailers, drugstores, dollar stores, for instance. Those types of things did very, very well.
Plus, Corning also has noticed a new trend in Billings that's helping fuel the local retail economy.
We have seen many, many new people move into Billings and want to rent space for small businesses. You know, they either have a franchise or they have an idea or they bought a business. We've had in the last 6 months more of that than I can recall in the past several years. And definitely it's people like selling a house in California with a big gain, wanting to move to an easier place to live. And, you know, they've selected Billings and other cities in Montana.
Adding to Corning's optimism, the new Rocky Vista University Medical School that's slated to begin construction here near Monad and Shiloh later this summer. Corning sees this adding a new dimension to the local economy.
I see that as a really important seminal development in Billings. I think the one thing we have lacked here is a higher education graduate school base that you say Bozeman and Missoula have. And this is really going to bring a high quality student and you know, a lot of the associated ancillary services with it.
So in spite of the pandemic challenges, Corning believes momentum is back on the local retail scene. It comes on the heels of a year that no one wants to remember. In Billings, I'm Jay Cohn reporting for MTN News.
And the Missoula Library is back open for business in a big way, with a steady stream of people coming in for a visit. That new library was completed last summer, but then it closed because of the pandemic. It changed Monday as those doors opened for at-risk patients, or patrons, I should say. The capacity is limited to 100. Everyone gets a wristband at the door, and then an announcement is made for people to leave with a certain color wristband. And now there's even a new self-checkout system.
Hopefully we'll be out of this by July. We will be having a grand opening on July 14th, and we hope we don't have to limit the number of people in the building at that time, but if we do, we will, and we'll start at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and go through the rest of the day till 8 o'clock at night, so lots of people will have lots of opportunities to come in.
And for now, the library will only be open in the mornings, alternating between at-risk and regular patrons every single day, with curbside pickup still available. All right, we have more to come on the noon news today. It's Teacher Appreciation Week, and this year, that recognition is taking on a whole new meaning. We'll take you to Belgrade for the story. And Miller's back in with a look at that potentially rainy forecast. We'll be right back.